Booster.
Go.
Retro.
Go.
Vital.
We're go flight.
Guidance.
Guidance go.
Surgeon.
Go flight.
Ecom.
We're go flight.
GNC.
We're go.
Telmute.
Go.
Control.
Go flight.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Drink, we do it right. Getting slizzard, sipping scissor in my ride. Like 3-6. Now I'm feeling so fly, like a G6.
Give me that mo-mo wet, wet. Give me that crispy style. Ladies love my style. At my table getting wild. Get the bottle poppin'. We get that drippin', that drop. Stop, get me 2 more bottles, 'cause you know it don't stop.
Oh, you didn't think we can do it again? Twister, Kanye West.
Let the party rock.
Girl, I see you in the map about them jeans. Chinchilla on your back, I wanna know your name. Girl, don't twist, I can blow your brains. Put you in the chameleon no-fo range. Still sexy when you smoke that flame. Jerking like a chicken when you throw that thing. She got me hotter than the oven, the way that she talk. Switching the freaky, so I'm loving the way that she walk. You looking good, girl, you wanna be in pictures. Listen to me, I see your career going sky high. Taking you home to the crib in the shot, and every time I see your thighs, I cry when I drive by. Watching you should bring a thrill, got the feelings on some Johnny Gill, steady screaming, my. Walking the rubber with the diamonds and thinking the dog. Kicking it on the top, and 106 apart.
Sexy and I know it.
Shady, this is what I'll give you. A little bit of weed mixed with some hard liquor, some vodka that'll jumpstart my heart quicker than a shot. When I get shocked at the hospital by the doctor, when I'm not cooperating, when I'm rocking the table while he's operating.
I'm sexy and I know it.
I'm here to the beat, walking down the street in my new freak, yeah. This is how I roll, animal putting parents out the draw. It's Red Bull with the big ass bra, and like Bruce Lee, but I got clout, yeah. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. Girl, look at that body. I work out. Girl, look at that body.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the second night of the semifinals and the finals of the eBay Charity Invitational by ONOG. I am DJ Wheat here for another night to wrap things up. Last night we saw 8 players walk into the 1v1 arena and only 4 were able to come out. We'll talk about which 4 made it through that you're going to see here in the semifinals. But I want to give a big thank you to everyone who tuned in last night, and of course everyone who's going to be tuning in tonight for the finals. We've got a new co-host tonight, and I'll introduce him in just a moment. But before we get started, I want to talk a little bit about the eBay Charity Invitational by ONOG. Of course, if you tuned in last night, you got to hear me talk a little bit about that. But for anyone who is new to the stream, the eBay Charity Invitational by ONOG was started about a month ago here, and it is a promotion to give away or to have a donation go towards one of the charities in which the players are playing towards. And I'll kind of like take you through the microsite here, which is over at ebaycharity.gg. And right now you can see currently set at $2,800 with a $5,000 goal they're trying to reach. And the way this works is you can contribute to that prize pot overall, and I'll show you who it's actually going to be, who the charities are that these players are going to be playing for. But you go on over and visit eBay, and if you're signed in, you've got a new budget, a new gadget now, and you just go to My Gadgets. And what it does is it allows you to add your electronics, add all of the stuff, what you'd consider a gadget, to your eBay profile. And it not only keeps a running total of how much you are worth in gadgetry, but also what you could potentially sell it for. So it's really easy. You just type in there. There's a video, actually. If you just go on over to My Gadgets, you can view a video over there. And anytime you list something, either off this page or otherwise, you actually are going to be putting $50 into the charity pool. Now, the 8 players, I should actually mention that there is, in addition to the listing, also several items from the teams who are participating. Curse, Evil Geniuses, I believe Root as well. And you can get some signed goods, mice, keyboard. They've had hoodies, some League of Legends statues and figurines. And those are constantly being updated. And here are 8 players that went through. And here's the bracket that you're looking at. The 8 players that were represented as well. And we will go through... one second. We will go through the players and the brackets and how it all played out. But I actually want to introduce the co-host for tonight. St. Vicious, unfortunately, had to scrim this evening, and so we've actually got a replacement. But also from Curse and the Curse Academy, and sub for Team Curse, we got the Jungler, One Bad Brad. How's it going, man?
It's going pretty good right now.
Thank you for coming on the show tonight. I'm definitely interested in hearing your perspective, considering that you were obviously a player in the competition. So did you at least have fun yesterday, despite the fact you didn't move on?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I was like incredibly nervous the entire time.
Yeah? Is it because you're playing for some pride, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And it like normally you play in the 5v5, so you know your game plan, and then I come into a 1v1 and I'm main in the jungle and I have to go mid. So it was a lot different.
Well, I might pick your brain a little bit about sort of the thought process, because, like, you know, St. Vicious is in the same category, right? A jungler, and kind of like trying to figure out, well, does this make sense or this makes sense? So we'll actually talk about that in just a second. I do want to at least show all of the matchups that we had last night. We had Afromu versus Only Jaximus, where Afromu advanced, so we're going to be seeing him shortly. We had Minigun versus Fabi, with Fabi advancing. to the semifinals. We had Rux versus West Rice with West Rice advancing. And then finally we had One Bad Brad versus Chaox with Chaox advancing. So that sets up the semifinals to be Fabi versus Chaox, and that's the game that we're going to be jumping into shortly, and Aframu versus West Rice. So that's who we've got. Now, before we start talking business here, do you have a favorite? Anyone? Did you watch the tournament, like kind of gauge your opponents throughout, and who do you think can take this?
I watched the first two. I didn't catch the last two, but Fabi's a teammate of mine. I enjoy him, but I don't know. It's a toss-up. I know pretty much all of these players in here, so Aframu and West Rice is going to be a really good match, I think.
Yeah, I mean, every single match yesterday went the full best of 3. And I should remind folks, in case they didn't know, like, how the hell's a 1v1 format work? Well, the way it works is there's 3 win conditions. There's either 100 CS, which we're probably going to not see, towers, or the mid tower gets taken down, which we saw twice yesterday. And then the last one is obviously first blood, which we're going to see mostly here. But yesterday, Chaox was running a Twitch strat. Like, he would just run Twitch pretty much. Well, that was versus you, right?
Yes, it was.
Yes. So you want to talk a little bit about that game?
So the way Twitch works, level 1, if he starts with a fort pot, he can stealth in, which gives him an attack speed increase. And then with the fort pot, he gets extra damage and health. So it allows him to kind of like 1v1 anyone if he gets melee range. Because if they try to run, then he will have that edge because they're going to have to run away from him and they'll have to take longer to get out of his attack range. So normally you can kind of all in level 1 kill people if you don't respect the Twitch. So in that matchup, I was playing passive all 3 rounds.
Yeah.
Game 1, I missed quite a few spells. I know Twitch missed a few as well, but I ended up killing him in a minion wave, which he tried to force an all-in on around level 6 or 7.
Who were you playing again in game 1?
I was playing Karma in game 1.
Okay, right.
And then in game 2, I was playing Annie against the Twitch. It came really close. When he ended up killing me, I had my ult up in 5 seconds, so that was a little bit rushed.
Yeah.
So he took me out. And then in the third game, I picked Pantheon into the Twitch, and I could have backed and ulted back in, but I second-guessed myself, and then he got a really nice auto-expunge off, and it finished me.
Yeah. Did you expect him to go Twitch in that third round?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, guess what? We're loading into this first game. Oh, allegedly. Trying to load in the first game. Here we go. And as you guys saw on the champ select, and I'm not sure. Now, in other 1v1s, there's been rules where if a mirror happens, sometimes, I mean, obviously, unless it's like specifically a mirror tournament, but that sometimes they would have them repick. But apparently not a rule in the rule set here for the eBay Charity Invitational. So we've got Tristana versus Tristana.
Yeah, and I think I'm not sure which way they can run because Tristana early game has fairly strong AP abilities, so I'm not sure if they're gonna run AD or AP.
I guess we'll find out from items right away.
And so it looks like KX is just going straight Dorian's Blade, and Fabi's still thinking about what to buy.
So do you have, I was trying to ask Saint in this, and you know, when you go into this, do you have a game, do you say I'm going to try to win off of the first kill, or I am going to have a CS strategy? Like, do you think that's even possible, or do you just kind of go in and do you feel like there's some gambles you have to make and there's some dice you have to throw?
It depends if you want to play risky or safe. There are certain champions that will have an innate advantage for pushing or for killing. And the ones that are focused more on killing, they are more riskier picks, I feel. Because if you don't get that kill, and let's say you all in and it fails, then their other side, if they aren't taken low enough, will have the lane control, which allows them to CS better.
And there's been a few folks that certainly tried. I mean, Rux even looked like he was potentially going for some all-in yesterday that didn't quite work out. So I don't think I've seen an all-in strat really work yet in this particular tournament.
Right. Most of the time, the all-in at level 1 is both sides just say, you know what, let's commit, and whoever does most damage wins. But I think people were trying to like play for their charity, so they're a little
Yeah.
more cautious.
Absolutely. I definitely felt like you got to see people be a little bit more passive as the games continued too. So but that was cool. I mean, it was making for some good games. So this is the semifinals here. The winner moves on to face off in a best of 5 finals, and that's all going down and happening here tonight.
So it looks like they both did a pretty much mirrored start, and they're just farming right now. I mean, they have identical summoner spells with barrier ignite, same starting item. Although it looks like Fabi has a little more AD than Chaos, but we'll see how well that works out.
I think this is also the first mirror match that we've seen in the eBay Charity Invitational by Onog, so certainly bringing something a little bit different. Fabi. Who else played Trist yesterday? I'm trying to remember who that was, but we have seen a couple Trists come out.
I believe it was Afromu, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it was. I think you're right. He ended up getting first blood on that one, if I'm not mistaken.
Believe so.
So CS 12-9. I mean, I expect this to kind of be an even back and forth. Where I found it get really interesting yesterday, Brad, is when, gold is on your champ. Do you go back? We had some folks running TP. That part actually becomes crucial to the game.
Right. So, especially with teleport, when you run teleport in a 1v1 matchup, like under these rules, the goal is to force your opponent back through either winning early before you teleport and pushing him out and then backing to kind of buy your items, or the other way is you back before him without him knowing, and then you TP back immediately before he has a chance to push the next wave.
And then he's behind.
And he's behind on items. And if he backs at that point, you can get a lot of damage on his tower.
Yeah, and I mean, in the situations, we saw a Varus situation yesterday where, 3 Dorn's blades came out, and that was it. There's a jump in by Fabi.
So it looks like both barriers have gone out, the ignites. Fabi's just trying to go in, but he's tanking those minions, which, you might get it. Oh, he got it. Wow. That was...
Kex looked like he had the chance to disengage there, but he decided to stay on there. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, there is like that 1v1 we were talking about where, you go in for the all-in commit. If you notice, they kind of like jumped at each other and tried to see who would be the last one standing. Chaos, I believe, stayed because Fabi was fighting in his minion wave, which is only 2 caster minions, but each one does like 10 damage a hit. So I think Chaos felt there he would have had the edge, but Fabi just had him lower, and it paid out for him.
All right, so our first semifinal, game 1, it goes to Fabi, and we're going to be loading up here for game number 2. So, ladies and gentlemen, stick with us because we'll be right back as soon as game number 2 continues. Don't go away. The eBay Charity Invitational by Onog continues after this. All right, welcome back to the eBay Charity Invitational by Onog. I'm DJ Wheat, joined by One Bad Brad, and we are ready to hop into game number 2 here between Fabi and Chaox, where we saw Fabi take game number 1 and Chaox in a Tristana mirror match, I guess you could call it. And we're just rolling off the delay here, where we have a champion switch. Chaox now on Annie. Any thoughts about that change?
So Annie actually has a surprisingly strong level 1 if she goes AD. It's something that's not often done, and it's a real cheesy strat, but what you can do on Annie is if you start with a Doran's Blade and then you start with your E, if you try to like gauge a level 1 or engage in a 1v1 early levels, like level 1, you can pop your E, which reflects damage and gives you tankiness. So you can actually out-trade a lot of champions like that. Or you can build her AP and just wait till 6 and try to use her ultimate Tibbers pressure to zone them back or even kill them.
Now, I'd be surprised if we saw something like you mentioned with her E, but I mean, crazier things have happened.
It looks like Annie, she's gotten more of the safer. She's starting Doran's Blade. But the reasoning behind this is Annie has a attack range of 600, so she outranges Tristana early levels. And if she starts with her W and builds stun charges in the fountain, it'll kind of prevent Tristana from doing an all-in at early levels, because she can just stun him if he jumps in on her in her minion wave, and then that'll lead to extra damage coming out.
All right, I like that. Definitely some thought going into this. Chaox obviously not happy with how game number 1 went down. And the semifinals is a best of 3. The best of 5 comes only if you make it past this round into the finals, with Aframu and Westrice waiting patiently to battle it out in the second semifinals. So
it looks like Tristana went with an Elixir of Fortitude, a red pot start, and then 3 health potions. So I wouldn't be surprising to see if he tries to all-in him early levels. But like I said, with the stun on Annie, it'll be incredibly risky, because as soon as Tristana takes aggro from the minions, if she gets stunned, she'll be sitting there for like 1.5 seconds, taking an entire creep wave.
Yeah, I mean, Fabi does seem pretty comfortable on his Tristana. Again, we mentioned in the last game, or sort of talking about the Twitch and some of the all-ins that we saw, and the question is if it doesn't work, if you die, obviously you lost the point, but can you come back from it too? And in a couple cases, we did see Chaox come back from using the Fortitude Elixir, and then still managing to somehow pull it out. So it'll be interesting.
So one thing to note, Chaox did I believe he canceled an auto attack there, which is not going to be huge, but it does make a difference. That last game was actually, I think it was decided because Chaox pulled an auto attack as well. But it looks like Tristana's, so as you see here, he took aggro and immediately the stun comes out from Annie. He's tanking those creeps, but the reasoning why he's kind of doing this right now is he has health potions. Red Pot's coming out. He might look to end it, but Annie still has barriers, so he's going to have to base though. The drawback to starting on Doran's Blade is you don't have any health potions. Oh, he just jumped right in.
Oh, wow. Nice. He jumps in, hits him, popped his own barrier. And Fabi.
That was... So what he did, instead of letting him back, he like started auto-attacking the wave down to try to hit level 2. And as soon as he did that, he just jumped right in and took him out. That was a really good play.
Well, Fabi, I mean, he closes it out pretty quickly. He's going to be moving on to the finals. Fabi is representing Greenpeace as his charity. So Greenpeace gets representation in the grand finals of the eBay Charity Invitational. And our next matchup is going to be Aframu versus Westrice. So we're going to get this game set up. And while we're on a very, very quick break, if you guys want to head on over to ebaycharity.gg, you can check out other information regarding the other players who participated, their charities, and also check out the eBay My Gadgets as well. So, guys, thank you for tuning in. We still got another semifinal and the grand finals coming up here in just a moment. So we'll be right back with more after this.
Turn the music up, I got my records on. Shut the world outside until the lights come on. Maybe the streets are alive, maybe the trees are gone. I feel my heart stop beating to my favorite song. And the kids they dance, all the kids all night until morning, oh, it feels another life. I turn the music up, I'm on the road aside, and heaven is inside.
Working on a vacation and hurry past the things and stronger. After hour, working never over. Working on a vacation and hurry past the things and stronger. After hour, working never over. Working on a vacation and hurry past the things and stronger. Working never